Hello. Welcome. It's time for another homework help video. We're going to do translations of exponential functions, which is 7.6 in the book or whatever. We got 8 questions here, and it's pretty straightforward. If you did 7.5, which was graphing the functions, this is going to be very similar. So we're going to need to open some Desmos here. Let me split the screen up a little bit. Hold on. Boop, boop, bam. There we go. Alright. Problem number 1. Oh, I didn't resize the video with my face. Ah, geez. Oh, well. You can see it okay, I assume. It says graph the exponential function 1/2 times 5 to the x. To graph the function, plot -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2, and then click on the graph icon. What that means is we need to plot 5 points where the input is the following 5 numbers. Now, if I go on Desmos here, and I type it in, I get a graph. And then on the graph, I can hit this little gear button and get a table. So when I get a table here, it shows me some points. Now, your mileage may vary because on mine, I have these decimal numbers, and these are good. You may get a repeating decimal, and I'm pretty sure I will somewhere in the next 5 problems. But for now, if you get this, you've done what the problem said. I've plugged in this. The table actually defaults by showing you the 5 inputs that they wanted. Now, if they had said give me 3, 4, 5, you could go in here and type 3 and 4 and 5. Oops, 4 again, 5 and all that stuff. You absolutely do not need to do that. Let's just go with what they ask. And Alex asked for what Desmos gives, so that's nice. You will need to hit this little button though and type in manually the different points. So -2. 0.2, 0.02, let's be careful here, -1, comma 0.1, hit that, 0, comma 0.5, 1, comma 2.5, 2, comma 12.5. All those were decimals. It was not possible to click them by hand, so I used this plot a point anywhere. Notice it says do not approximate. For example, 1/3 is not 0.33. So if you had a repeating decimal on here, you couldn't type 33. You couldn't type 33333. You could, no, there's no amount of rounding that you're allowed to do. Like if you stop, you're wrong. You have to write 1/3. That didn't happen on these, so these are fine. I'm gonna click this, and there we go. I'm gonna hit check behind my face. There you go. It was fine. I'm sure we'll see when I have to do it, so that's fine. It'll be fine when we get there. All right, f of x equals 3 times 3 over 2. Okay. I notice I just changed it, and this already was graphed, and the graph just changed, the table changed. It's all ready to go, so you can do that on your problems too. And finally, the decimals I told you about. Now, if you get that situation, what you'll want to do is manually go down to another line and plug it in yourself. Like, literally plug it in. Like, plug in -2 where x is, like I did, and notice I got the exact same answer. And then hit this little fraction button, and it says 4/3. So 4/3 is you can type 1 and 1/3, but 4/3 is like the acceptable answer here. So when I go to plot this, I'm going to type -2, comma 4/3, and then plot. And now these other ones are decimals that didn't repeat, so I'm allowed to do them. And I know some of these are like easy things that I could have clicked on the graph, but at this point I've already got the little window open, so might as well type in what I got here. So 1, 4.5, 2, 6.75. Okay, now this time and you'll see this on some of your problems, my number 2, if I click this it goes nope, because it said next draw the asymptote. I haven't done that yet. So what you want to do is look at your graph and see it's flattening out along 0. So a dotted line goes along 0. Now, that's not always going to be like that. I think on this homework assignment, that's how things turned out. But let's say this said -4. See, now it's flattening out at -4. This number at the end really dictates where the line goes to. That's not happening on these problems. So if it asks you for an asymptote, it's very likely it's probably just along 0 like I did here. Then I click on this guy right there. And there you go. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, let me hit check. Perfect. And another one. Now you'll notice when I did mine, it was very convenient. It only had one thing that I had to deal with. You're always going to get that lucky. Like, see on this one, again, I have one number that's decimally like that. Actually, this is the same as the last one, except for it's negative and the thing is reversed here. How strangely convenient is that? I'm just saying, you're not always going to get just one single thing with decimals on it. You maybe all 5 of them will be like that. I have no promises for you, you know? But just to be sure we know what I'm getting here, I already know that 1.333 is 4/3, but just in case you want to see it again, to the 2, this time to the 2 created that, and it makes negative 4/3. So I'll go through and I'll type everything in. So -2, -6.75, -1, -4.5, 0, -3, 1, -2, 2, -4/3. Remember, 1.333 is going to be wrong if you type it, so I will not type it. Okay, also, just like the last problem, it says, draw the asymptote. My graph didn't really get seen while I was doing that, but you can see it evens out here. Now, the graph's upside down compared to the last one, but it still, as you can see, flattens out along the y-axis, the x-axis, so that's where the asymptote is, and that's what I'm going to click. And I'm going to hit check. Continue. There's just going to be more of these, by the way. If you're sitting here going, how many more of these are there? It's all of them. Well, not all of them. The last few problems are a little different. So if you're sitting here going, do I need to see this? Do I need to see more of this? Maybe. I don't know. Wow, would you look at this? This has a negative in the front and a negative in the exponent. So what happened here is... Oh, scratch my ear. Hold on a second. What happened here is 2 things. The graph flipped vertically from the minus, and it also flipped horizontally. Like it should have been rising like this, yet upside down, but it flipped oppositely that way too because of the minus up here, which is cool, I guess. And this time there were 2 things that I need to adjust manually. So I will do that. Hello? Come in here, little childs. Oh, I've got a stuffed animal here. Oh, you think that's funny, huh? Ah! All right, I got to do some math, okay? Bye. You take this. Bye-bye. Do you want to sit and watch with me? Okay, we have a visitor. She's coming to watch. Okay, so anyways, I got -25 nights for that one. I'm going to keep that on the screen and do another one. -1. Hey you. Okay, we're all good now. All right, so notice when I plugged in 2 and 1, I put them weirdly in parentheses. That's because 1 and 2 were what I'm plugging in, but the thing had a minus sign, so it's kind of a little weird on that one. But whatever, I got the numbers I want now, so I'm going to go and type them all in. So I've got -2, -0.36. Let's see. I've got -1. I've got -0.6. I've got 0, -1, 1. And then when I plugged in 1, I got -5/3. 2. 1 second. Sorry. I got kid interrupted. That's an awkward place in the video. Can't take that out. That's going right on the internet. I have no way to edit. Alright, anyways, I plotted my 5 points. Some of them had to be turned into fractions. The other ones that were short decimals that were not repeating, I totally typed in. This one wants the asymptote, which is at this, and then I hit the click, and then I hit the click. Let's just pretend that awkward silence while I was talking to my kids was totally me giving you an opportunity in which to answer your own question. You know what I mean? All right, here's the final one here. I'm going to take that out. On this one, it looks like all of the things were nice. Just so you know, what we learned about today was that this negative sign flips it over the y-axis. So I know you're not being asked to do that on the questions, but you should probably keep that in mind while you're doing the questions so you know what you're looking out for. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not saying anything. I'm just going through and typing this stuff in. So there's my 5 points. Click my line. Boom. Trying to get to 6, 7, and 8. I think you got if you got to 5 here, I'm assuming you got the gist of how those go. So now we're going to do the new stuff. And this is what we learned in class today. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this line and put it in a new position. It says do it to the graph of 3 to the x such that it becomes 3 to the x plus 1 minus 4. So what we learned in class today is that these numbers happening to these things move stuff around. So you might want to refer to your notes if you're not sure, but I can tell you this right now. The plus 1 moves the whole graph left 1, and the minus 4 moves it down 4. So I will literally take this 0, 1, go left 1, and down 4. Now, it's very important that you don't actually go -1, -4, because you're not just going from the center. You're going from 0, 1, a known point on the graph. So I'm using the known point and taking that one and moving it left 1 and down 4, okay? So when I do that, that's what I'm doing. Now, could you use Desmos? I mean, maybe if you want to use 3, if you want to try it on Desmos, I guess. 3 to the, you have to put this in parentheses, x plus 1 minus 4, and you'll notice it kind of looks like that. I don't know if that's helpful in any way, because the point that I wanted to draw specifically, the left 1 and down 3, there you go, there it is. It's not really visible on the graph. So, I mean, just use your knowledge. That's all you have to do. You don't have to graph any of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine Desmos here and resize. Okay, so for the rest of these, I'm not using Desmos. I'm just going to move it. So here's the picture. It says do this same thing, but to the plus 1 and plus 3. Plus 1 moves it left 1. Plus 3 moves it up 3. So from 0, 1, mine will go to -1, 4. Keep in mind, the stuff in the exponent does the reverse of what you think. It moves it left and right, but positive is left and negative is right. So remember those things. Okay, we got yet another one. -1 plus 4, so -1 moves it right 1, plus 4 moves it up 4. That's it. Now, I have to admit, excuse me, that these last problems here didn't really have everything. Like, it didn't have a number multiplying out front. It didn't have a negative. It couldn't be flipped upside down. It's kind of unsatisfying that's like that. But honestly, if you can handle these two kinds of movements, you're probably doing as much as any state test will probably ask you for. And to be honest, probably what you'd see on the chapter test at some point in the future. So just so you know, that's what you should look out for. Those last 3 are really good examples. The first 5, I would argue, are just more practice of what we did the other week when we were graphing the basic ones without the other stuff in front. But this graph's all the same to me. Do the same process, so nothing that crazy there. All right, hopefully that was a good enough video. Let's just go to the report real quick and talk about what we did. So problems 1 through 5 was just me graphing this, and what I did was I used Desmos to plot the 5 points they wanted and put them on here. Now, sometimes I typed them in manually. Actually, all the time I typed them in manually. But if it was a repeating decimal, I had to, on Desmos, change it to a decimal number, from a decimal number that was repeating to a fraction. So make sure you do that if you need to. Then on the last 3, you just simply take the graph and shift it into a new position based on what movements are required. So like left and right if it's up in the exponent, and up and down if it's at the end. Just keep in mind left and right probably does the opposite of what your mind would tell you to by default. Okay, that was it. That was the whole thing, and I'm gonna end it right there. And hopefully you found that video helpful. If you watched it, I thank you for doing so, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.